hasn't presented before. Okay, so it's the first time here. Now, we all know the form. I mean, everybody gets lots of support and encouragement, but especially if it's their first time, we like to make them feel welcome and demonstrate to them that it's a wonderful audience, perfectly safe, harmless, and they're in safe hands. So I asked each of our presenters for an interesting fact about themselves, and Amy said she was nervous. So anyway, let's make her feel really welcome and great to be on stage. Amy Johnson!
Okay, it's all right. Yeah. Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Go.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Amy Johnson, and some of you in the room might be thinking, like that famous pilot. In which case, you're like every supply teacher I've ever had. Please don't ask me where I parked my plane. Or perhaps you've never heard of her. In which case, that's a bit of a shame. She was the first lady to fly solo to Australia. She was kind of a big deal. There are roads named after her, and there's even a Wetherspoons in Doncaster Airport. Yep, that's right, I share my name with a Wetherspoons. But this isn't a talk on 20th century aviation or Wetherspoons. I'm an expert on neither. Well, maybe a little bit on the latter. This is actually a talk about me. This is me aged 22, and there's a big difference between me aged 22 and the 30-year-old Amy today. So the wine, the chocolate, added a few pounds on, and my love of sunshine have added a few more wrinkles to my face. But completely out of the blue, 3 years ago, I developed an autoimmune disease, and one that's had a major impact on my life. In the first year of diagnosis, it rocked my confidence, my self-esteem, and my whole life in general. I had days where I didn't want to get out of bed. I cried. In fact, I wept bucketfuls. More than any X Factor contestant who's just got through to boot camp and recently lost an inspirational grandparent. I was a total misery and felt very sorry for myself. So what is this disease? A little thing called alopecia, or alopecia areata, to give it its full title. Basically, I became a bald woman. It started with a small patch, which quickly grew in size. No GP could tell me what was the cause. Every morning for months I cleared hair from my pillow. My sink got blocked, and we had to get a new vacuum cleaner. My first thought was, how was I going to hide this? I started wearing headbands for work, and when a colleague referred to my new Steffi Graf look, I knew it was time to come clean. It wasn't easy to tell my boss and my colleagues that my hair was falling out. I was ashamed, I felt embarrassed, emotions that I wasn't used to dealing with, but they couldn't have been more supportive. I've been very lucky in that regard, but not all people with alopecia feel they can be open about it. I quickly decided that wigs weren't for me. I made a special, you're very lucky today to see me with a wig. I don't find them comfortable to wear. I prefer to wear a scarf or nothing at all. A turning point for me was meeting others with alopecia. This quickly helped me to feel like I wasn't a freak. I was comforted to learn I wasn't the only bald 27-year-old in the world. There are millions of people worldwide who have alopecia, men, women and children. But it's still not easy being a bald woman. There is so much emphasis put on a woman's hair. It feels like you can't be beautiful without having great hair. Press articles can be very critical about a celebrity's new haircut. It seemed to me to be ridiculous that you can be judged on your hair, yet it does happen. And how many positive images of bald women do we see in the media? In TV and film, bald women are often figures of evil or ridicule, which isn't great. But yet it's great to see that there are people with alopecia in the media who have not let their baldness stop them achieving. You might have seen Joanna Rousel win the Olympic gold last year in the Olympics. Matt Lucas, the comedian, he's also got alopecia. It would help me and others if there were more positive images of people with alopecia. I'd love to get to the stage where people see a bald woman and don't automatically assume she's going through chemotherapy. It leads to some awkward conversations. I'm proud to say I volunteer for a small charity called Alopecia UK. and they provide information, support and advice to those suffering with alopecia. We also try to raise awareness of the psychological impact of the disease. And September is Alopecia Awareness Month, so that's why I'm out of my comfort zone and standing here today to talk about this. At the beginning of the month I was involved in an alopecia flash mob in Liverpool, and when you get home, if you could Google that and have a look, hopefully you'll be impressed with it. And I've set up a support group in Leeds, so if you know of anyone who's struggling with alopecia, who needs to talk to anyone, feel free to come and chat to me at the end and I'll give you the details. And finally, nobody can explain why this has happened to me. Recently I started experiencing some patchy regrowth, which you can see. But to be honest, I prefer the bald look. Maybe it will grow back, maybe it won't. But I'm determined that I'm not going to let it rule my life. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen.